Are the edges of your counted cross-stitch project starting to fray? This one is getting to be a real nuisance, mainly because the threads that fray come up and get caught in my stitches and get in my way. If you're working on a small, quick project or not manipulating your fabric as much, it might not be an issue, and if it's not, don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything to the edges of your fabric if they are behaving. But if they are starting to get like this, or if you're working on a big project where you think they're going to start to get like this, I've got some tips for you. I'm Michelle, this is my romantic tangle, and let's talk about taming the edges of your Aida and linen fabric for counted cross stitch. This is a big project, and in a perfect world I would have zigzagged my edges before I started stitching, but I was impatient. I wanted to start and not pull out the sewing machine, and once I got started I wanted to keep stitching. The sewing machine's out. I should have taken care of this a long time ago, but I've been dealing with it. I am at the point where this is enough of a nuisance. I have either got to do something today or I'm going to start pulling my hair out. Kind of the default for finishing your edges is using a serger. A serger, if you're not familiar with it, is a specialized sewing machine. A lot of people use them for stitching clothing. They provide that nice finished edge you'll get on manufactured clothing. If you have one, by all means use it. If you have a friend with one, by all means use it. But they are expensive and require I believe, a substantial learning curve. My daughter has one that was handed down to her, and it's been 5 years, and we've never taken it out of the box because it sounds hard. What I do is I use my regular domestic sewing machine. I set it to a zigzag stitch to the longest stitch length and the widest zigzag possible, and I just run it through the machine so that this is the center of my presser foot on the edge of the fabric, and the needle just goes on either side of the edge. And it's not the tightest zigzag, but it keeps the threads in place, and that is all I need. I'm not going for pretty, I'm going for functional. This wide long zigzag is quicker, it uses less thread, and it does the job. I do have some specialty stitches on my machine that would make it look more like I had done it on the serger. But I'm not trying to make my edges look fancy. I'm just trying to keep those long loose threads out of my way. And if it's something little like an ornament or a quickie project, most likely I will not bother with this at all unless the fabric is starting to fray and give me trouble. Let me know, how do you stabilize your edges? Do you have a serger? Use your domestic machine? I'm not a fan of tape. I've had some handed down to me projects, and I think I've taped a couple of my own, and it feels icky to me. And it is hard to get that tape off later. This seems to add the least possible amount of bulk to worry about later when I'm finishing the project. So it's how I do it. It's how I'm going to keep doing it. And if it works, do what works for you. I'm Michelle. This is my romantic tangle. Thanks for watching, and I will be back with you again soon.